Yep, here we go again. Here we go again.
Here we go again. What's up,
Yeah.
everybody? How you
Man,
doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man.
Nice,
Uh,
nice, nice, nice.
the world is burning because everybody's making Sora 2 videos and
Yeah, I know. And them shits all week.
all week. You know what I'm saying?
All week.
I've been seeing people make AI videos of themselves with their younger self and like their plants, and it's getting weird out here, man.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna say what I was about to say because that would have been bam. Much respect for the dead, but man, it's a lot of wild shit going on. It don't need to happen. I'll just say that it don't need to happen. As you said a few episodes ago, it's not worth a tree.
Not worth the tree, man.
It's
I'm
not worth
sorry. It's not worth the tree. But regardless of that, welcome to another episode, iteration of Building with Mars and Big Esco. That's my brother Mars. I'm Big Esco. We doing everything: branding, advertising, culture, all those great
sport, music,
buzzwords.
fashion, kicks. Yeah, we might have to do. We need to start throwing the travel in at some point. Trump
Some
got
point,
the travel game fucked up. We might as well talk about that market too.
you know what I mean? We could actually talk about that because I just came back from Maui,
You did?
and
How was the trip? I didn't ask you that actually.
Maui was super fire. Paradise for sure. I get why people love Hawaii.
Okay.
Learning about the original people, the Polynesian people in Hawaii, and how they got colonized, and how tourism and COVID has affected them, and the wildfire and all that
Mm,
kind of stuff was more than eye opening. But it was good. Good family
okay.
time, beautiful place. I would highly recommend. If you can go, I would highly recommend, especially from a city somewhere like that. Like it's like an
Mm,
10 hour journey. You probably
okay.
St. Louis. We stopped in Los Angeles, but you probably get there from Dallas, Los Angeles. I mean, not Los Angeles, Las Vegas. Excuse me, but
Oh, you did like the connected flight type situation.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So I went to Vegas, then we went out to Hawaii. So
Okay, okay. Did you, low key, did you hear or rather see the news that they're about to start doing direct flights? I want to say to London from St. Louis.
I did see that. I
Yeah,
did
I
see
was like, okay,
that.
St. Louis, we moving up. That's a
I hit
nice
one.
little.
Had to
You
hit
say,
one of the ends. I had to
yeah,
hit.
exactly, exactly. Straight from there, because I know people who literally would drive up or like take the train up to Chicago and then have to take the flight from Chicago, which can be a pain in the ass. To me, those sort of situations, and you can't do everything direct flight from everywhere, so I understand, but that's a deterrent to me. When you're like a major metro area and like, imagine if a Smino could have traveled directly to Chicago or some shit like that back
Yeah.
in the day to like go and do this, that, and the third, or Nelly get the executives of it. Like, I don't know. It's just so many other possibilities when you got that direct flight.
Yeah, man. And it's an
Mhm.
international airport. They trying to update Lambert. So
I did see that too. I'm kind of looking forward to that because they're going to expand as well. Or is it okay? That's what I thought. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
So some upgrades. Side note in crazy St. Louis news, somebody drove into the side of the McDonald's on Lindell. I don't know if you saw that.
What? When that happened?
It happened like 2 days ago. Look it
Oh
up.
no, I missed that.
Look it up.
That's
Look it up. Look it up. I always got to give you some crazy St. Louis news.
what? For
Yeah.
those who don't know that particular place or like even know about me and Ryan, we went to school around the corner from that particular McDonald's. That was like an after school hangout spot for a lot
For
of
sure.
us. That's crazy.
We drove.
They kind of like gave it a facelift in recent years too. It looked nicer.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think a
Yeah.
black man owns it too. So
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Okay, that's
uh-huh.
what's up.
Shout out to him. You
Okay,
know,
all right, brother.
hope they get that. Hope they get that hole fixed up real soon.
Yeah, that's good insurance money for sure.
Yeah, come on, Ronald McDonald, come through with it. But man, it's October, our favorite month.
Our favorite month, our birth month.
You know, hands down, Libra
Mhm.
season. Cardi B and kicked off Libra season in full swing.
Man, oh my God. It was so much going on by the time I was busy working that day. And I saw, I'm like, what is going on? I thought it was like some regular shady shit. I went in them timelines, was like, oh, this is what? And your mother's talking about children?
Yeah, I don't even want to.
Ooh,
I don't have no kids.
ooh.
I don't even want to get into that. That's not hip hop. That's some
That's
person.
not hip hop. That's not
That's
hip
some New York shit that they got to figure out.
for
But
sure.
no, it's sports season. Sports
Mm-hmm.
are back. You
Full
know,
swing.
sports are back. And before we kind of get into a little hoop and touch the NFL a little bit, I know you
We'll
into
swing with that.
fantasy as well.
hmm
Um, the World Cup tickets were released today,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and the World Cup is going to be in LA, correct?
So the earlier
New York, New
round, like the
Jersey.
prelim rounds, going to be in Canada and Mexico. This is the first time they're ever doing like a full continent
Got
for the
you.
World Cup. So it's like some really interesting shit. Things like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal in Canada, and like Mexico City, Monterrey, and like one other place in Mexico. And then like the more like elimination round stuff will be in the states. That's like Atlanta, Miami. I want to
Mhm.
say DC, but don't quote me on that. New York, LA gets some love. Seattle gets some love. Like Houston, Dallas, Kansas City. So it's gonna be all like cats gonna be traveling all over the country in all these different markets for like the nitty gritty of it. But yes, LA is one of the spots.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
totally had it wrong. So you got, like you said, it's a full continent takeover. We got the West region, Vancouver, Seattle, San Fran, Los Angeles.
Brian too,
You got
man.
the Central region, uh, Guadalajara,
Guadalajara, that was the one I was missing.
Guadalajara.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterey, Houston, Dallas, Kansas City, and then you
Mm-hmm.
got Atlanta for the Eastern region. Atlanta, Miami, Toronto, Boston, Philly, and then New York, New Jersey, which New York, New Jersey will be hosting the final.
Of course, big money, biggest media fucking market in the largest market in the world. That's
My
gonna be big money, bro. I'm kind of excited.
Miami, and then like the last game is in New York.
Yeah, I mean, why not do it in Miami? Messi there, and obviously that is one is Miami. Why not just do it there because it's
Right.
Miami? But also, I don't know if you know. I don't know how closely you follow. So like, we don't talk too much about it. But Barcelona moved their like U.S. office recently from New York City down to Miami. You know, Barcelona is a
Hmm.
really big deal. And my man's he like does this kind of like economic like surplus injection kind of like program down in Miami. And I've been watching this story. He be going to like some of the meetings and the dinners and celebrations. That was a really big deal. But the Miami airport, which you've been to Miami before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know, like to me, that is like the gateway to Central and South America and the Caribbean. So
Okay.
for the Barcelona office to be there and the World Cup to be like, we talking real money. Miami is not a big city in size, healthy population, but it's not like the big three or four or anything like that. But when it comes to getting it in as a travel and tourism destination, oh, it's a big deal. Florida itself is a big state. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to really seeing these campaigns start to roll out, bro. I'm very excited on some advertising shit. Sports
Yeah.
wise, it's just going to be lit anyway.
Yeah, no, you make a really good point. We were talking about the rise of the MLS before we got on cam, and you were telling me how now, obviously behind the NFL,
hmm
that's the second, biggest league right now, in America. Is that what you were quoting? Or is it America?
So no, so it's NFL, NBA, MLB. The MLS has now taken over the NHL based
Got
off of
you.
what I saw in a project that I was doing a couple months ago. As like now the fourth most popular league, but I was saying number two now is the NBA for the youngest fan base.
Got you.
The now youngest fan base is the MLS Soccer League, and it's also the fastest growing sport in America.
Got you.
So, like, well, that's part of why I'm excited about the 2026 shit because you're going to see just a crazy push. Not only are motherfuckers from all over the world coming, same thing with the Olympics in 2028 or whatever, but like, if you got a young fan base, and obviously we know just naturally a lot of this would be contributed to the large immigration population coming over here, not just solely from Latin America either. We talking people from
Africa.
Africa, we talking people in the Middle East, we talking people over in Asia as well, and Europeans moving to America that are already soccer fans. And that shit is growing. And these young kids with the young population and Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and all of that, that's their de facto sport that they choose to really rock with, bro. So, I mean, we're also starting to see a seismic shift in what American sports kind of looks like. And it's going to be a point possibly where football and American football may go neck and neck. I got much love for the NBA still. I hope that they can keep that #2 slot, but no telling what the future got, bro. Because soccer is actually a dope ass sport. I ain't gonna hold you.
Well, I think that hits on a really good topic that fits perfectly kind of into why I even wanted to talk about this was
Okay.
the globalization of American sports. Obviously, I'm not considering soccer, football as an American sport, but MLS is obviously an American league. And
Mm-hmm.
David Stern recently was not David Stern, rest in peace, David Stern. Adam Silver. Adam Silver was talking about how he can see a future where NBA European teams are playing
Mm-hmm.
NBA America teams, North America teams. Let's just put it like that. And because of travel, what's really the difference between a team in New York and LA playing versus a team in New York and London playing, and so forth and so forth. So I don't know, man. I feel like when I hear you talk about Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and their experience with American sports,
Mm-hmm.
it seems as if it's going to be a much more global scale of fanmanship, because I can remember being a young person, and for me, globalization in the sports that I liked was Yao Ming. It
Yeah.
was learning about,
Yeah.
even learning about like the Soviet Union and like the 1984, like the Olympics and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But then players like learning about Yugoslavia
Mm-hmm.
through Sabonis, the daddy
Mm-hmm.
Sabonis, not young Sabonis, daddy Sabonis,
Mm-hmm.
Vlade
Mm-hmm.
Divac, and Petrovic, right? That's how I actually really started to learn where places were. And of
Mm.
course, you grow up and you hear about Pele, you hear about we grew up in the home run derby, so learning about Sammy Sosa and Big Poppy and these Latin players being from, Central America and the Caribbean and all that kind of flavor. That was like the small scale at which I experienced globalization when it came to
Mm-hmm.
sports. Now, I mean, you can be a football player and you got a game in Dublin, you got a game in London. The Knicks and Philadelphia and the Sixers are in Abu Dhabi right now.
Right, right,
You
right,
know what I mean?
right.
Like, it just seems like what was once America as the playground or the field,
Mm-hmm.
court, now it's like the world has finally opened up its arenas to American sports, and how soon before it's just one big league.
Right, right. Now I like that. I will say can't predict the future as far as where these things will end up in 20, 30 years or so. NFL is in a league and stratosphere all of its own. So that's like catching up on revenue and all that shit. It's crazy actually how they have even expanded with their Euro trip and now we're in Germany and all this other stuff. I remember when I went to London and Europe for the first time for my 30th, and I was over there when the Rams were actually playing. Like I was flying out of London that day to go to Berlin. I did like a whole little bam, as you know, or whatnot. And I saw so many Rams jerseys. I'm like, why the hell is everybody wearing Rams jerseys? I wish that I like had a scope on it. I hadn't even planned to go over there at that time when the tickets first dropped. But like, damn, I wish I would have, because I would have loved to have gone to a Rams game in London. I think they actually won that game too that day. I would have been, oh, that would have been such a great fucking time. But when it comes to hoops, I think that it's though all professional sports are physically intensive, like I think that they can probably do a little bit more of a global expansion where you're not running into each other like hitting each other's bodies, like grown ass 200-300 pound men running at you full speed in the way that NFL players do it. But in that's part of the reason why their league is so short anyway. You can't do that for 82 games or however many months, so on and so forth. I do hear basketball players in the NBA specifically talk though a lot already about how all the travel can take a toll on their bodies, and they contemplated maybe even like shortening the seasons a little bit to like help with some of that.
Mhm.
My one thing about when Silver said that, because I like the idea of it, but a New York to a London is a lot different than doing Lakers to London, or over to Paris. So it it broadens the full scope because like it ain't no reason for just the Knicks to go over and like the fucking Sixers to just go over to Europe. Like they want to see LeBron or Luca especially go all the way over there and play a game as well. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I do think that there is a big logistical, like it's a reason that the World Cup, everybody and their mama just come and be hubbed up together for a particular moment in time because it's like it's a reason why we doing it continent wide, north to south versus like east to western hemisphere. You just a little trip from Toronto to Mexico City, though it is a little longer,
Nothing. That's
it's
nothing.
not the same type of thing as like doing and you're not even switching time zones. Like the sun still is up at the same time. Your body and the circadian rhythm still hit a particular way. Versus like going over from New York, I think to London is maybe like a 5 hour difference.
Yeah.
Not so bad. Enough of a chunk or whatnot. But then when you actually start talking about cats in Texas or cats in LA, those larger markets that they want to get over there because those franchises are so popular, you're going to generate a lot of revenue, then it does become physically taxing. I do like the idea though. And your boy Brian talking about during that Europe League. I wonder what that looks like because
Yeah.
that's going to happen.
I think that you're right when it comes to the travel and the
Mhm.
logistics, but I will say I think that that's not as big of a deterrent as you think because fans in the NBA are already ready to get rid of divisions. NBA fans are ready to get rid of
Okay.
divisions. They're ready to get rid of conferences. People would like the playoffs to be the top 16 teams.
Can you? I know you more the diehard than me. I didn't know that this was like basketball, like NBA head
Well,
chatter. What's that about?
think about it like this. Because, and now this is definitely my NBA high horse, me getting on my soapbox. NBA players today, the reason that they don't like the long season is because they want to play for so long. So if players played more of an average of the superstar players 12 years, 15 years,
Right,
it's like, okay, you have such a shorter window. Michael Jordan didn't envision himself playing into his 40s.
right.
Right.
Like
Michael
Brian.
Jordan was actually a freak athlete in that way, where like
Hmm.
maybe Magic Johnson could have played a little bit longer, but most of their contemporaries, Magic, let's say Magic could have played longer. Let's say Michael could have played longer. Let's say Kareem could have played longer. Those are like three guys. When you think
Right.
about even LeBron's peers, LeBron played a long time, Vince Carter played a long time, Kobe played a long
Hmm.
time, but Iverson
Hmm.
didn't play as long as them. Tracy McGrady didn't play as long as them. Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, they didn't play as long as them. Like like every generation has two or three guys that push it further and further. When you look
Hmm.
at James Harden in their class, it's like five or six of them that's going to play like 17 years.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get Russell Westbrook out now. I feel like that he's not on the team, but he's really the first one to kind of just fall out of that rotation.
I hope somebody do pick him up though, because I ain't
They
trying to see
definitely
Russ
should.
go out like that.
No, they definitely should. And
Yeah.
so just saying that to say that, like, they want to play less and they talk about back to backs and all this other stuff. But it's like, bro, that is the league. That's what the money is for. Like, that is what the money is for. So let's
Hmm.
trade. We could definitely trade. No, you don't
Hmm.
want that, right? So that's one thing. So like the travel being a deterrent, I don't think it's a deterrent because now I think people want to watch the best of the best. The
Mm.
NBA, the NFL, and the MLB, and I would say the NHL too, have been able to corner their markets and create the best of the best. I think
Mm.
people misunderstood Adam Silver when he said that his league is a highlight league. I would beg to offer, I would bet, I don't know for sure, but I would say the NBA YouTube is the best resource for basketball content.
It is really
Why?
good. It is really
But
good.
like, why? It's because you can watch videos of the best basketball players. Why is Ball is life tight? Because you can watch the best up and coming basketball players. Like, that's why it's cool.
Hmm.
So when people say, especially here older people, oh, you're telling the people who pay for the subscriptions that you don't care what they. No, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is, I have the best basketball product. So whether you watch the games or not, I put up Lakers versus Magic day one recap. It's gonna get within 12 hours 300,000 views.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah. They
own
keep
all their
doing
content.
it. Mm-hmm.
That's got to be one of the biggest YouTubes in the world. But we don't
Yeah, yeah,
we don't
yeah.
look at it that way, right? We don't put it in the same scope, in the same frame of reference. And
Mm-hmm.
so just saying that to say, when I look at what the football clubs in Europe are able to do and create clubs, right? European basketball is similar to this too. That's what the NBA is about to create, right? NIL is pushing us further and further into, now we finally have our official second professional leagues. College football is the second football league. College basketball is the second, basketball league in America.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are getting Nike deals in college. Ask teenagers.
Right.
They're part of these basketball AAU clubs that start for a lot of them at 14. So what's gonna happen next is, like, they already start doing it in like Africa, where they got NBA Africa. They have these basketball clinics, and then you're gonna start seeing all these big 6'10" French, all these
Yeah, yeah.
6'11"
They
so and so.
developing. That's a lab that they got going
They're
over there.
African. They're African. You know what I'm saying? And so even when you look at who was in the NBA finals, Pascal Siakam, you know what I'm saying? Like, that whole thing, you know what I mean? And,
Mm-hmm.
and that's always what
Mm-hmm.
I would say about, like, the world is not catching up to America when it comes to basketball. Like, we created basketball. Like, that is what we do. We've gotten so good at basketball that we don't even play basketball the right way anymore. Like, European countries think that, like, they figure something out. Or
The
Europeans, we run
fundamentals.
plays. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have to run
yeah,
plays.
yeah.
We can just give Kevin Durant the ball and he can have 35 on y'all and we're gonna win.
Right, 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 right. Because we
Y'all
will win. We still do win
Y'all
at the end
can't
of
do
the
that.
day.
Y'all have to be teams since y'all were teenagers, and we get together for a couple months, rich, drink some wine, go overseas, kick y'all ass. That's what America, right? Especially basketball. So I think now with the European League, finally what we're gonna see is really world champions in basketball.
Mm.
Like, we're gonna finally get world champions, and we have the world championships through FIBA, but I think it's gonna have to be some type of new league or emerge between FIBA and the NBA, and it's gonna be tough because
Mm.
it's different rules, but it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be some type of merger, and we finally gonna be able to crown a real world champion. That's what I'm saying. NBA might get closer to that if we have, let's just say, like I said, a 16 team tournament. Here are our best 16 teams, the best 16 records. 12 of them
In
might
the
be,
world, you talking right
I'm
now.
talking about just in the NBA. 12
Okay,
of
okay,
them
okay,
might
okay.
be just from the Western Conference.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? And you get those top 4 teams from the East. Then it don't matter, like the Central Division, all that. That was really for scheduling, TV, travel
Mm-hmm.
was different. They were hopping on the bus. They were doing a whole bunch of different stuff. They're on the planes. Everything's private. Like, bro, it's easy. How high up are they going to take this market? I think that is what we're really waiting to see.
That's very interesting.
Like,
I fuck with the take. I fuck with the take. I think I would like to see the game evolve in a particular way like that because they keep us on our heels. I'm not gonna act like the international players are all bad or anything like that. Them niggas be balling. Them
no,
niggas be
international
getting
players
busy.
are Wimby is one of the
Best
younger
players in the
players.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
for
yeah.
sure. I am. I know you definitely was on your NBA. What'd you say? Your soapbox with it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it on a marketing scale though, like on like an advertising scale. We don't. I mean, I guess soccer. That's what they typically say is like the one true global sport. And I would argue it still is. But basketball would probably be the next best thing to being a true like dominant
Man,
global sport. And when you travel into like I remember also that time I was in London, I was asking who the most popular. I went to the Nike town in London, and like the most popular jersey over there It was like Giannis because it's a heavy like African population in London, but they said right up under it was Curry. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I expected to see another international one or two, but to see what that kind of merger looks like, and even like the athletes that have been on some of the NBC ads and things like that, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, we're the globalness is like set up, and of course NBC Universal, Peacock, all these people they have like their international deals already. It's absolutely cats 6, 7, the other side of the world, like it's nighttime over there where it's daytime over here type shit, literally, or watching a primetime game for us in the middle of their work day over there or whatever, live in real time. That's a real thing. Bro, it's so much money to be made. And just even thinking about globalization in a broader scope beyond just sport, which as we've kind of mentioned before on here, sports is kind of one of the only things holding legacy media up. Like they need football, they need the ascension of soccer, they need basketball to get them healthy ratings because that's where all the ad dollars is. Award shows not doing too much. You might get the occasional prime time show, but bless you. I imagine Abbott Elementary might be more profitable for them on the streaming services. When I saw that South Park deal and they said them niggas had a 3 billion valuation off of the streams, I'm like, oh, I knew it was good money. I never knew what the number was of it. So that really has me kind of like thinking about what the profitability looks like. We talked about upfronts a couple months ago and all this other stuff. I saw a random clip of like Mark Cuban. He was like, I never got into the media business because it's one of the worst business fields to get in. He mentioned things that we do, media, music, and clothing, which yes, the margins are thin. They also just happen to be like the very cool things to do. So I understand why people are super drawn to them. You can make a shit ton of money doing something very practical, some software, some tech shit or whatever, and boom, but you in the shadows because you probably, unless you Elon Musk, you could be a lame and also like famous. But other than that, you typically are not. Like Mark Cuban, I actually fuck with. He cool, but he makes very smart, conscious money decisions. When it comes to getting that fame, when it comes to getting that clout, when it comes to getting that other shit that rich niggas want, that's where the sports come in, bro. That's where the media come in. That's where the fashion come in. I know we also kind of had a little bit of a back and forth about the sports and fashion partnership shit kind of being a boom right now.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think about that? I don't think we actually like gave a I fuck with this, I don't really fuck with this. I don't think you really gave it. I don't think I gave a take. I think I just shared the content with you.
Yeah.
I I'll let you go first, and then I'll like have my response.
Well, before we switch to that real quick, I wanted to say that
Actually,
like I looked up the top 100 YouTube sports channels.
mm-hmm.
And like I said, NBA is number 9. And it's
Mm.
like WWE is number 1. You know what I'm saying?
WWE, that's hard. That's hard. They getting money out here too, though. They are getting money out here.
And
So
but that's the level at which the NBA is on
yeah,
at
top
this
10 in
point
the world is wild.
on YouTube
Yeah,
alone. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the collabs that I'm rocking, I'm very critical of Nike and to me what I would consider their lack of innovation. And you really only get a lot of new silhouettes from them when it comes to basketball.
Mm,
Silhouettes that I see. So I've
hmm.
been loving the Ja Morant threes. That whole
Quick question for you. When you say
yeah,
silhouettes that I see, are you talking about silhouettes that you see on your algorithm or that you see out in the world?
a little bit of both.
Okay, okay,
A
okay.
little
I
bit of
just
both.
wanted to be clear for myself.
Yeah, a little bit of both. And so you know, they got their big stars, the Giannis's, the Jaws, all that other stuff. But I really been like a Ja Morant. I feel like this is the first time in a while that a player's aesthetic matches their shoes perfectly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like the colors of the shoes, the stripe on it, it just matches Ja Morant like down to a T, in my opinion.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
it's just perfect. I really did like the LeBron 23s with the crown on top. I think that that's super fire. But to be honest, uh, I've liked more of what the women have done. I thought like Angel Reese the one that's selling now. It being Reebok is super fire.
Mm-hmm.
Asia Wilson, and the Asia ones, those colorways, the pink, just everything that kind of represents. I think that's super fire. The men, in my opinion, are it's not a lot of innovation in that space. You'll have
Okay.
a player like Shea come out with the Converse, which is just so fashion inspired. Adidas, I feel like got that injection from Yeezy and
They did. They've been running with it ever
kind of
since.
took
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I feel like it's manifested itself in like great shoes for Anthony Edwards, really cool silhouettes for James Harden recently as well. James Harden's last two shoes have been like super cool too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's just like they're selling like because of college basketball, college, that is where a lot of silhouettes, a lot of exclusive stuff goes. The silhouettes that
Mm-hmm.
they're pushing for the year, like you said, the Under Armours, all of them, they'll get the Steph Currys out. That's how a lot of them will push the signature shoes out. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like right now, in sports and it's and meet and collaborations between brands, it's an arms race.
Yep.
How soon can you get an athlete hooked onto you, and how quickly can you start cashing in on their likeness?
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I look at a person like Juju Watkins, who decided that she's not even going to play college next year. Um,
She gonna get drafted damn near number one anyway, so it don't
yeah,
even matter.
but her taking her time. I mean, I saw the Nike Juju Watkins bun T-shirt. I really want that T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
I
I
didn't
might
see that one, but that's a fun one. That's a fun
have
one.
to bootleg and get the bootleg version, something like that, or get online, get a resale because I'm just like I can't get it anywhere.
Oh,
Like
it's already. They've been selling. The girls been selling out. I
the girls be
love it.
selling out. You know
I
what I'm saying?
love it.
And so
Yes.
I think that is like I think the collaborations are a lot less fun, a lot less interesting because players now are businesses so young and they have a lot less personality. So
Mm.
the reason that Shea and Anthony Edwards is interesting because they have personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? John Morant has a personality, whether you agree with all his decisions.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And the girls have personality. The guys don't
Mm-hmm.
really. So a lot of this stuff to me, cool collaborations, but we're getting to the point now where it's like these dudes grew up dressing on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they don't have swag like that. Like
yeah.
like pushing or being upset. Like that's just the truth. Like they don't have swag like that. So it's just like
Personal swag. I think they have the whatever the internet shit is, but I can't also fault
Riz.
motherfuckers when they grew up on the internet as well. I think things were a lot more distinctive and being siloed off as like punk or emo or hip hop or skater that helped inform and kind of like it taught you. I know we talked about that in other. We got some good episodes in the chamber at this point. We be hitting on these topics,
No, we do.
but yeah, I do think that it's just a little bit harder when you at this point, yeah, they Gen Z coming up out of this shit for real, and soon to be alpha. Like alpha, the oldest alpha is coming of age in high school at this point. Now they're like what freshmen, sophomores, so they'll be in the pros very soon, and they do things a little bit differently. But again, they can never really be fully immersed in the culture in a particular way, just simply off a rip because everything that they're doing is nitpicking at like surface level. I did want to read something from the post that I shared from you. It was a business of fashion post that I shared just for transparency or whatever with the audience. But just a quick little excerpt. They were saying that fashion brands are tying themselves to one of the last remaining examples of mass appeal culture, which we're talking about is sports. According to a report from PwC, the sports sponsorship marketplace reached $115 billion in 2025 and is projected for 160 B by 2030. On the other side, though, a senior advisor over at BCE Consulting said there is just so much happening. It's noise at this point. How does somebody stand out in this crowded field? And that was the thing I really wanted to touch on because when it comes to, I guess, kind of like the Nike shit, which I don't necessarily consider more fashion partnerships, I feel like that's more traditional, like sports brand endorsement type of situation. And that stuff is pretty solid. Like I like where a lot of those things are right now. But when you start doing the Louis Vuitton sponsorship of the NBA, and the players all get the Louis bag. You get the damn trophy case with LV everywhere. Or Abercrombie and Fitch doing a partnership with the NFL, and we right around the corner from NIL money being going to fashion, like going to fashion brands as well. That might happen this school year for all we know.
Right.
Like hell, something I did in my line of work, granted, it was more like an influencer situation, but with the fashion collab, the John Geiger stuff that we did, we got athletes wearing that and going on TV and talking about it. I wouldn't call it a full-on partnership. Definitely fits more into that like influencer pocket, but we're using them as vessels because again, that is one of the last remaining kind of like sectors for mass appeal and placement. Also tying back into what we were just talking about how all of these major networks are relying so heavily on sports because that's like one of the live sports technically. That's one of the only one true remaining things that has legacy media keeping its legs up. After that, they all Netflix, and they not making better content than Netflix. I don't even be watching the Netflix shit all that much, but it is kind of one of the last legs. Apple can absolutely eat more NBC's food. Netflix can absolutely take more from Fox. You know, motherfucking Hulu gonna be up there under Disney, but Disney can go ahead and eat up motherfucking WB and motherfucking Paramount, no problem. So we're really looking at a shift when it comes to again some of the more marketing side of some of these things. I think it's okay right now. The projection of it will probably still remain because as we know in this industry, by the time it hit that peak and bubble, it might make them projections. But now all the old head lame niggas, they playing catch up on another trend. They didn't spend that much money and it might hit 130 to 135. And now we got to look for the new fresh thing. We over here on our early adopter, building type of shit right now, talking about what's now and next. Because I do agree with you. A lot of these kids don't be having the style. They don't have that distinct personality. Those are the things that make those athletes that you just mentioned actually stand out. And I would argue, and I'm sure you would agree, basketball to me is the most stylish sport. I would probably put soccer up there as the next one because on a global market, them motherfuckers be getting busy. They got a particular swag and flavor to them. Also, you know who be the best and biggest stars in them leagues? It be black and brown people, bro. Black and brown people. But these are also the emerging markets of the world as well. Maybe the ghettos of America are no longer the hottest ones, minus like a Puerto Rico, shout out Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl and all that other shit. But when I talk about emerging markets, I'm thinking of Colombia, I'm thinking of Brazil, I'm thinking of Indonesia and Korea, South Korea, more specific to be specific, and India even. They got flavor over there. The rise of the Middle East and the Muslim world and everything in Africa. Africa is the one that's going to be the next largest continent in the world with the youngest population already and projected to still be that way in years to come as Europe ages and China and Japan are dealing with birth situations and population decline, and the US of A has now started to peak on our shit, which is why we need immigrants. Shout out to my people out there. We need to keep a young and healthy workforce and producing new babies over here if we want to continue to be on that tip. But that's, I think, a underlying thing of why I mentioned the soccer as that one global sport, because it's all these other underlying factors that kind of go into it. Hooping is right up there with it too. Just like a soccer field, they got basketball courts around the world as well. But like when it comes to something like the NFL, it will see its day.
Well,
Its day.
I think that something that you talk about when you talk about emerging markets, the emerging market in sports is women.
Yes, on the
And
broader sense, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes,
and
yes.
the NFL could probably start a women's league before it could go international. I have a friend that went to Metro. She played on the women's football team here with her mom. Go get
Word.
championships. They be on
Oh,
ESPN.
word.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So and with the rise, I'm saying that because of the rise of flag football.
Yeah, that's about
Flag
to be an
football.
Olympic sport next time around. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So with the rise of flag football, women and co-ed flag football teams are all across America already. You know what
Mm-hmm,
I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
But to your point, there's no young NBA player that can outdo Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, and Caitlin Clark. None. Under
You talking
20,
about on the court, or you talking about when it comes to this money in the business?
this money in the business, and you talk about branding and marketing. If
Yeah,
you can't afford LeBron, KD, and Steph Curry, right, as a
true,
brand,
true.
but there could be some brands that could actually afford Asia Wilson, Caitlin
Hmm.
Clark, and Angel Reese.
Right
That
now, at least.
right now. And that's what I'm saying. And in their future, they would be much more likely to want a Juju Watkins and a Paige Beckers to do something and to really get headlines and to really get traction. The problem is that so many marketers and branders and advertisers heavily rely on social media and online. So there is a lack of just connection between athletes and people now. And something that you talked about, the reason the NBC stuff is going to work is because Carmelo Anthony is a household name if you like sports.
In
But
general, if you just like
you
sports,
like
yeah,
sports.
yeah,
He
yeah,
played in
yeah.
the Olympics. He played in college. He played in March. He played in all the best tournaments. If there's a best NBA, best basketball tournaments, he played in them. And everybody can't say that. LeBron can't say that. He didn't play in March Madness. You know what I'm saying? You get a certain type of cachet when people learn about you. That is sports. The sports is the journey, right? And so that's what I'm saying. When these players start to overextend their journey, it starts to cheapen their brand on what they build brands on as athletes. Because the cool thing about an athlete is you got to stop being an athlete.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's the cool part about it that I feel like they are missing because now they've been tied into these big money markets. And that is why the NBA won't emerge. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's because the oversaturation of two older players. Like we have to cover LeBron, Steph Curry, and KD. There's nothing else that they can accomplish in the NBA that will make their legacies any better, really.
Maybe that fifth ring for Bron tying Kobe on the Lakers,
Maybe
but
that fifth ring for Steph Curry, maybe.
maybe,
But if they
maybe.
don't, but if they don't,
That's it. That's it.
it doesn't matter. They're still
Yeah,
LeBron,
because
Steph
what?
Curry, and KD. Like it's nothing else for them to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Besides maybe
yeah,
play together. If they're gonna just play together, then that's when you talk about branding, you talk about the league promoting something, right? And so I'm bringing up the WNBA because you brought up LeBron in the European League because of Unrivaled,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And Nafisa Collier from the Minnesota Lynx recently had a closing interview from the season. They got eliminated by the Phoenix Mercury in
Mm-hmm.
Nafisa Collier got hurt in a controversial play that, as a basketball fan, I didn't think it was a foul. Um, shout out to Fifi. She went to Incarnate Word, so I got a lot of love for her. But the league and its players and its coaches have been complaining about the officiating, saying that the game is basically too rough. And they basically have called out the commissioner, and basically Nafisa Collier is saying that the commissioner doesn't value its players and thinks that its players should be happy to be in the league. Now, I see both sides. I see the side of this WNBA commissioner who can vividly remember 27 years ago, 30
Mm-hmm.
years ago, when the thought of the WNBA was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The thought of that league in itself was ridiculous. And so she has a perspective of someone, probably, I would say it's probably a little bit closed-minded, but she has a perspective of somebody that when you're a real basketball fan, sports fan in general, you know that there's nothing you haven't seen before. So it's like, even though Lamar Jackson might be on paper the fastest
Mm-hmm.
quarterback we've seen, I mean, theoretically, we could still talk about Michael Vick.
Right,
And then you
right.
can still go back to Warren Moon. And you could still, you know what I'm saying? And we could talk about, Joe Burrow, but we could talk about Dan Marino. You know what I'm saying? We could talk
Mm-hmm.
about Matt Stafford. We could talk about Kurt Warner. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what sports is. So for a lot of people, the new WNBA players are the first time they're seeing women at this level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
Cynthia Cooper. I remember Lisa Leslie. And there's players before Cynthia Cooper and Lisa Leslie and them that I don't know that I know was just as good as them.
Right.
So you have that generational
Cheryl Miller,
pool.
nigga.
You got that generational pool of people who remember that, who look at what these women have now as just like, you all should be thankful because you have no idea what
Yeah.
you have the lived experience of these women who stood on the shoulders of those giants, and now you have to give them credit, have pushed it further. They haven't made mistakes on social media. They
Right.
haven't done anything in the arena. There hasn't been a Ron Artest moment that almost derailed the league. It
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been anybody high on drugs that
Mm-hmm.
show up and mess the league up. Somebody died during the draft process because they was high on cocaine. Like, all those things are detriment. Nobody then got AIDS and did some crazy stuff. Nobody then had a cheating scandal on their husband or their wife and had 3 kids on the side. Like, that hasn't happened in their league. The biggest controversy that they've had is Brittany Griner.
Right. Which shit, fuck Russia in that context. It wasn't like that was on her.
And even from the standpoint of Brittany Griner had to go through child support.
Oh
And
yeah,
that
I
kind of stuff.
forgot about that.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Having a person that brings different type of controversy to the league. WNBA
Mm-hmm.
players have been golden examples of what you want as role models, as student athletes and athletes, professional athletes.
For sure.
And so now the rubber has met the road, and it's time for them to take off and get paid. And I think that they need a commissioner looking at them for who they really are, which is pioneers. Everybody in this league is still pioneering. It's not set in stone that in 10 years the league will continue its upward trajectory. It's just not set in stone. You still need the players, you still need the attention, you still need the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the anticipation from fans of new seasons. And you already have Chicago Sky fans, New York Liberty fans talking about being priced out. Now, of
Mm,
course, those are 2 out of the 3 bigger
very big
markets in
market too.
America,
Yeah.
but those true fans, they're gone. And that's what we've
Yep.
seen that happen in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It's capitalism. And so, as I think that the Unrivaled League, which has snuck in underneath the WNBA's nose, which is what the NBA didn't want with the big 3, which is why they subpoenaed players from talking about the big 3 and supporting the big 3, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that Unrivaled has opened that can of worms. And I wouldn't be surprised if the money's not right, these players may strike. And
I think that they're going to. I don't even think that that's really a maybe. They're going to strike, and they deserve to. They need to be making more money, bro. Um, they deserve it. The way that the WNBA has booted up in the last couple of years, and actually when they talk about the conditions that they've had to go through, and knowing what them TV deals and all that other shit looks like, this, I mean, it may not be the only time, but this is a definitive moment for them to start to get their trajectory as they grow along similar lines to what they homeboys over in the NBA be doing. They
yeah,
cool with them. I'm sure the NBA players is giving them advice on what to do. And I love the ladies because they got their own other league that they can really lean into if they really want to. Like, fuck, we just gonna go DIY then. I remember them the basketball strike last time around, the holdout, and Cass was really out here touring. I couldn't get into it, but I would have loved to
that
see
was
LeBron
fire.
at that damn high school gym.
That was
That shit
fire.
looked super sick,
That
bro.
was a fire time, bro.
And the thing that's different about that kind of like strike CBA moment versus where we are right now is the advent of social media and the internet. They can, not all, maybe they do a pool or something like that, which I would fuck with. And then also that advertising money that the WNBA was getting can absolutely go over to Unrivaled. Networks will line up to sign fucking contracts with them to get that content more and more out there and pump. Like you don't need these leagues. That is the democratization of social media in a particular way where we can still see, even with all the bullshit with cloud and algorithm and big tech doing this weird shit and all of that. Once you build your platform, you got the power. you got the power, bro. And I love to see it. I want to see them leverage that power in a particular way because the WNBA would literally be shit without the WNBA players.
And
Same
that's
way all these leagues were. And I hate
every
that the
league.
NFL players got to go through it. It's different over there. It was a book called $40 Million Slaves. I highly recommend people read it. I read that joint in my African American studies class in high school, but it was a great book and gave so much perspective. But I'd be saying that sometimes when I look at these deals, especially with the NBA, I mean with the NFL, they kind of booted it up a little bit more with some guaranteed money here and there. But it's such a cutthroat conveyor belt in the NFL that's a little bit different than baseball. They getting guapped up. Soccer, they getting guapped up. Motherfucking NBA, WNBA, you can get guapped up. WNBA needs to fight for that right now. NIL, they got this money now, bro. That's why Trump wants to step down on it. It probably pissed him off seeing these young black kids coming from the ghetto that should be thankful that they got an opportunity. Nah, bro, y'all not paying me. I'm not necessarily saying because it's crazy seeing some of the money, but hey, go crazy, young. Because also you don't know what's gonna happen. You could get injured in college and lose all your shit. So if
Literally.
you got that $10 million fucking checkers Jack in the Box TV deal for your region, I don't give a fuck. You can finally elevate your people about the motherfucking, and then it also absolves us of all the controversy and all the other shit. Because motherfuckers was getting paid back in the day. That's no secret about that. But now, at least with this, there's legal frameworks for it. And honestly, it's like getting a fucking influencer check as far as I'm concerned. It ain't no different in the social media era. So
Wow.
to me at least, it's just kind of like, bam, it's literally name, image, and likeness. That's what being an influencer is all about, bro. You paying for my name, my image, and my likeness. You asking me to endorse your brand, be sponsored by you, throw the logo on, do an ad, whatever. The same way that a big beauty influencer would do it for fucking Maybelline. It's the same shit to me. So I'm happy to see it. And I'm especially happy to see it because there's so many motherfuckers that look like you and me that's in a position to really like help their family, which is the main reason that they pursue this fucking sports shit or this hip hop shit in the first place, bro. They doing that so they can change their people's lives. We know what it what it looked like to come from humble means. And there's motherfuckers out there that come from even more humble means than us.
Yeah.
So like I'm as a human, I'm happy for him. As a nigga, I'm ecstatic. As a real nigga, I'm geeked up.
Hey,
Fabo style, bro. Because we need to level out the playing field. We don't own no infrastructure. We don't own the media companies. We don't own no sports teams. Maybe a part ownership in a group situation, but ain't nobody sitting out here with just a fat $40 billion. You got a $3 billion franchise that you just own yourself. Not yet, at least. I hope to see it in my
I
lifetime.
wonder with that you make a really good point. I wonder if, obviously if an NBA team doesn't own a arena, they have to lease out access to the arena. So like the Lakers leased out
Oh, that's
access to.
sometimes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I wonder if, the leagues are the players. It's like wrestling. If you got bad wrestlers, you don't have a great league. I
Mm.
wonder now because of Nike Eyeball, the Adidas circuit, and even internationally now, every top NBA player has to go to Asia in the off season and touch those fans' hands and sell those shoes and sell those t-shirts and sell those jerseys. I wonder what that would look like for an alternate league. Can like, it wasn't in our lifetime, but it was in our parents' lifetime that they have seen, and you could even argue with some of our grandparents that are still around. They saw the Negro League and the MLB. They saw the ABA and the NBA. They
Right.
saw the NFL and that league Herschel Walker was in. I can't even think. Was it UFL or the USFL or
Some shit like that.
some shit like that? Whatever. But point being is, like you said, the NBA has already like the biggest thing the NBA and the WNBA are showing that I guess is different from the NFL is that this is a players' league.
Whether
The
you like
players,
it or not, it is. We're the talent.
the players run the league, and it's a power that they take that I would say creatives don't take. Um,
Mm,
every even athlete
mm,
doesn't take it. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm.
it would
It's
take
right.
nothing. It would take nothing at all for new artists to just be like, yeah, I don't want my stuff on Spotify.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would take nothing at all. It would be a fight, and they could bring awareness to it, and they could just be like, no, make the CDs, and people will figure out how to play it.
Hmm.
Get the
They
vibe.
will. They will.
They'll they'll figure out how to play it. That is a part of the journey of watching something creative. Oh, I heard this new movie is out. Which theater is showing it? I'm going to go see it. Where can I buy the DVD or the VHS? I'm going to watch it. Like that is totally a part of um oh, there we go. That is totally a part of
Hmm.
just consuming media. Where is my favorite person showing a concert? I'm gonna go to the concert. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
just think that athletes, basketball players in particular, are showing a lot of gumption that I think that
Yeah.
other creators of all kinds, because I'm considering them creators too. I just think that
Hmm.
creators of all kind could actually really take something away from.
No, I think in light of RIP to go aside of Shakur, I just also kind of been just thinking about revolution these days, especially with the way that the job market is hitting, the rise of AI, how all these recent college grads can't just get a job. Their unemployment rate is like 10 or 12% now, bro. I'm like, oh, you went to school, you did what you were supposed to do, and then a job open for you. And then the people who did go to school and get the shit, they getting laid off. There, there will be, there must be, there needs to be a day of reckoning very soon of the Black Power fist, all power to the people. In order for this shit, like ultimately at the end of the day, these platforms need us. Whether you be Twitter or YouTube, which YouTube ain't been doing no bogus shit, so I'll let them rock a little bit more. I saw Apple just fucking bent the knee again to Trump and took down the ICE like protection website.
Mhm,
Yeah, I'm
mhm.
like, what the fuck are y'all doing? But Tim Cook, the same bitch ass nigga Tim Cook, went and gave Trump a golden bars. That's why I be going in on these CEOs, bro, because it's like, y'all, they bitches. I don't really know no other way. They actually have more power. Trump wouldn't even have the power that he has if it weren't for his large donors paying money to get him in. You, the billionaire, have the power with the money to do the shit. That's why Musk was booted up with his ass, calling him all types of whatever, and snitching on him when they was beefing. Because he like, I'm the richest man in the world, bro. You not more powerful than me. And I'm not, I don't really love billionaires all that much, but we in really wonky fucking times. And it's like we need good billionaires, if you will, to get up in that mud a little bit, bro. Because this is my thing. We need a revolution. And maybe the
Mhm.
billionaires just don't want to do it because it maybe will compromise some of their bottom line as well. But the PR you don't get from that, niggas will love you. Because at the end of the day, like we still need the internet. We
Well,
still,
that's really interesting in what you bring up, and this is probably actually an interesting, good topic to end on, especially
okay.
with the news that's come out with about Bomber and the
Are you
cheating,
talking about is it Kawhi
Kawhi,
Leonard?
and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? Right. Not to get into that, but it feels like there was a discussion amongst them to be more right, I guess more conservative, what people would consider more conservative, less centrist, less moderate, and more conservative. And I don't know what about the rhetoric from the left upset them or sent them into that shift, because it wasn't as if they weren't making tons of money with somebody in the left in office,
Yeah.
right? I don't quite understand that all the way.
It is the inherent, well, there's studies out there that show that, like, they did the Monopoly game thing back in the day where when you start the game with more money versus less, you end up being more greedy, things like that in the game. But there is, because women aren't safe. It ain't nobody that's safe other than white men, the same ones that they didn't really build the world, but they fucking imperialized the world to get it to where it is right now. There's a sense of entitlement, and we live within all these different systems and frameworks of patriarchy and misogyny and all these phobias and isms. It's all because of them. They wrote most of the books that we get our education based off of all this shit. I don't agree with everything, but it is what it is. Um, so at least this is just my personal opinion. I ain't got no real scientific backing of it and no shit like that. But they're just doing what rich, entitled white men would do, which is, I mean, greed is one of the seven deadly sins. So is pride. You know, pride to me is also ego, gluttony, greed. You know, these things are all part of the seven deadly sins that are dictated to us. And that wasn't really in the Bible, but this also was white man's dictation of the seven deadly sins based off of the morality that was already given to the Bible and put it instilled in the Bible. That said, though, I think it's almost natural. The same way that they feel like, oh, you must be the Charlie Kirk shit. You must be a DEI hire if you're a black pilot or if you're fucking Kamala Harris or fucking Michelle Obama. Like they took someone spot. Those women are brilliant and well decorated. Maybe a DEI hire will get a thing off checked off. That's not how it goes.
That's not how it
That's
goes.
not how it goes. Them ladies earn their keep well. They earn their keep very fucking well, bro. And I think that at the end of the day, the greed thing is what really makes we live in capitalism. It's all about growth. And it has gone from being like a fucking monetary and economic philosophy to almost like a doctrine and a way of life. Like greed is good. In the 80s, they talked about this shit in Wall Street, yada, 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 yada. And they get off on that amongst themselves. It's a culture of greed now. It's a culture of trying to steal and maintain and wield as much power as you can. So, like, it's very hard because I don't know why Big Oil just simply wouldn't be the same niggas that would like start the sustainable, like own the grid, own the green sustainable grid. Yeah, it might not be the same as oil, but it's renewable and you will have that. The oil and the coal will eventually run out. It is not renewable energy. Logically, it just would make sense for them to be on that shit. But then when they saw how much less money they would make, they said, no, we got to keep doing it this way. Quite literally, like they have, bro, the first like labs and think tanks that discovered the ozone layer and researched on pollution were oil companies.
Mm.
Then when they got word of it, they was like, "Oh, we can't let the people know about that," and they went on their own PR campaign of denial and doubt and causing all this other shit, and then investing more into politicians that would deregulate shit. But they literally are on it. I don't know why, but they still need us. That's why we don't have more walkable neighborhoods. That's why we don't have more like equitable public transit because they need the car companies and the car companies need the oil to run on it. Like it literally is this weird cyclical thing. But as more and more people are starting to wake the fuck up about wanting a walkable neighborhood and a fucking so you my neighborhood, I can go to my doctor, my dentist, multiple grocery stores, walk over to a bus. My commute to work is only 30 minutes, bro. It's great. It's great. And everybody is not in that position. And that is by design at this point. And that's why I say all power to the people. We saw what happened when Disney got protested against and they lost billions of dollars with Hulu over the course of a weekend. Kimmel came back real fast. I think more people need to realize that we have more power in this shit. As a marketer, we looking at the numbers all the time. We make
All right.
decisions based off of where we following the money, where people are spending their money at. And these are billion-dollar corporations, bro. They will bend the knee so fast if they see their stock go down. If that because they're most of these billionaires don't have actual billions in cash in the bank account. They
Right.
worth built off of their stock. If that Tesla stock plummeted, I bet you that man will be making different decisions real quick to get
Mhm.
people to like him.
Yeah.
All the numbers for Trump is what his stock is. And I think that's really what it is, bro. I don't know. I just want to inspire people to like think a little bit differently on it. it's hard to change all this shit. Like we all got iPhones, iMacs, or whatever. We're not gonna be able to fully do everything all in one fell swoop. But I
Right.
think if we're starting to smarten up a little bit more and got into our organizational bag just a little bit tighter, we can hold a lot more feet to the fire, and them motherfuckers actually bend the knee.
Man. Man, you hit it right on the head right there, man. Something I'll just end this on is rest in peace, Asada Shakur. Um, it's been a lot of crazy stuff that we have not talked about that has happened since our last episode
Yeah, it'll
that
be
we will,
another one. So.
and I want to make sure that we hold some space for the good sister Asada Shakur for sure. So, rest in power to her. Happy that she got to live her life out. I hope in some type of freedom and not in a cage, which she deserves the entire time. And like I said, man, the fight is just really just starting for what's to come for our people for sure. And as an American people, I hope that some of our counterparts have a lot more backbone and stand up with us and fight for human rights because that's all we've been doing since we've been in this country.
Yeah,
So
in the 2020s, it is not a black versus white or whatever. It is a rich versus poor thing.
you
It
know what
is
I
a
mean?
class war right now that's going on. And I don't think that they know. People
Uh,
who ain't been in that position already been dealing with the bullshit. But for those who have their privilege already, they coming for you too.
they coming for
Look,
you too.
look at rural America. You can already see the damage they did. They taking people hospitals away.
Come on, man. And y'all voted for them. But that's another conversation for another day.
Another day.
We will be talking to y'all soon. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us if you got this far. And peace and love, y'all. Talk to y'all
Yes,
soon.
sir. Love.
Peace.
Peace.